And hey, everybody, Jim Edwards here, along with
Stu Smith.
And we are bringing you today the Jim and Stu show in a different way because Jim is in Facebook jail. I have been wrongly convicted by a court of automatic filters because yesterday I tried to went. Wow, the trailer park's coming right back out. But you know what? Always be you. We tried to go live and there was a hiccup. I think my daughter Nancy was logged into my account or something. Somehow we tripped some kind of filters, and I am not allowed to post on Facebook or YouTube for a week.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make any sense. And by the way, there's no appeal. There's no court of last resort. They send you to a little box that you can, I mean, the box is like this big on the screen, okay? It basically says, you can tell us why you think you shouldn't be, but nobody looks at this. This is basically what it says. But it'll make you feel better, and maybe it'll help us to improve results in the future. I am not kidding you. So I want to talk about something today that I think I'm actually going to turn into a product, or I'm going to do a summit or an interview series or something, because I think this is extremely important. Now, you look at my business, you look at your business, Stu, how dependent we have become on Facebook, where we own nothing. We have no rights. They can sell our data, they can sell our soul, they can turn the lights out on us in an instant, and they don't care. You might think, oh, well, I spend $1,000 a month. I spend $10,000 a month. I currently spend, I'm figuring out in my head, I currently spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $85,000 to $95,000 a month on Facebook ads.
Damn.
Okay. That does not mean jack to them. They don't care. And you might think, that's 1 month spend more on ads than I paid for my first house. Actually, my first two houses. Okay. They don't care. And so I'm going to, as anyone would, especially if they hang out with a former Navy SEAL, I'm going to develop a contingency plan.
Nice.
What if Facebook were to ban me one day and I had a lifetime ban from Facebook? And I want you and I, Stu, to just kind of discuss this a little bit. Because you're going to have to post this into the group once it's done. Yeah. And I would love to have everybody's opinion down below. And I would love to know what y'all think and if this is something that's worth delving into more deeply, because it appears to me like most people's businesses are really based around either Facebook and or Google ads and or YouTube ads. That's where most people are basing their whole business as far as advertising and getting traffic and other stuff like that. What happens if all of them were to ban you? What would you do? How would you make money?
That's a good question. Well, can I start answering this, or are you still?
Well, I'm still pontificating for just a second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But the thing that it makes me think back to is that there was a time when people made a lot of money on the internet and there was no Facebook. There wasn't even Google AdWords. There was not LinkedIn. There was no social media. And so I'm thinking that we need to go back to those days of person-to-person contact. And the thought that I had this morning was, there was a time when the way you made money was you contacted all your buddies who had lists and you said, hey, would you mail for this on me? Would you do a webinar? And everybody was just kind of passing around the torch. And social media, people say, oh, I have friends on social media. I've got I don't know how many I have right now. I guess I could go check. Maybe they haven't shut me down for that. And the thing is that I was thinking, you know, there's 4,966 people who could give a rat's patoot about me if it really came down to it. They're not really my friends.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yet, there's a situation where if I went out and cultivated relationships with people who had lists, who had, you know, followings, who had all this stuff, I would be much more secure than having 20,000 followers on this and 10,000 followers on that and 4,000 friends here. I would be much more secure with 100 people that really gave a rat's patoot, whether I lived or died or stopped breathing, or whether I was creating stuff that was of value and things like that. And, you know, really focused on building my email and building up my relationship with my email list. So now I'm done. Stu, what are your thoughts? What's your immediate knee-jerk reaction to what I just said?
My immediate one was exactly what you just said after I had kind of interrupted you, is go back in time to when there was no Facebook and there was no social media. And what did you do then? Yep. So now we have to say we're going old school, when back then it was really new school, because you were the only ones making money on the internet if you did it that way. And I remember I was kind of hard-headed going into the whole Facebook thing. I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time on Facebook. That's a complete waste of time. And then I said, well, if I can figure out a way to make money on Facebook, it won't be a waste of time. Right. And that is when I kind of pulled my business into Facebook. I didn't necessarily need to do that. And if you really think about what social media has done, it is basically a search engine, just a non-specific search engine, right? So you're just kind of scrolling through things and blindly doing it. Whereas on Google, you are specifically searching for something, right? And that's really all it is. So let's kind of go back to when we were relying a little bit more on search engine optimization. We were relying on emails and content creation. And if you notice, and if you focus on that content creation, nothing has really changed other than your methods of distributing your content.
Right.
So your workload is the same as far as what you have to creatively put out there into the air to get people to come to your website. You're just going to do it a little bit differently. And I have one site that does really well on Google, but I have another site that does really well in pulling people from social media. So I kind of have the 2 is 1, 1 is none philosophy going on with my business. And if one side ever died or one side ever got put in jail, you know, I could still rely on the other, the same as always. And looking back at what I did back then, it was, I was writing articles. I was sending those articles via newsletter and just posting them on blog sites and art, you know, websites, you know, that had a good following. And then when social media came, it was an easy way to share those a little bit more.
Social media made us lazy.
It did. That's all it did. That's all social media has done. That's all Facebook has done. Facebook's made us lazy for distributing content and made us lazy for running ads. That's it. That's all. And specifically Facebook. You know, YouTube is a giant search engine of video content in the end. But depending on the search engines and doing SEO is stupid. There's too many people out there. If you're going to live and die on coming up under a single keyword, like if Stu was like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to feed my family if I don't come up under the keyword workout. Well, Stu,
I'd suggest you grab your hairnet and head down to Chick-fil-A and see if you can make a living saying, would you like fries with that? And my pleasure. So, because that's what they say at Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
My pleasure.
My pleasure.
I could have had a lot of fun with that in college. So the point though is I started writing down some stuff here. All right. And you know, when you think about traffic, you think, I mean, that's really what we're talking about, traffic and attention and eyeballs and stuff. You can buy traffic, you can build traffic, and you can borrow traffic. Buying traffic is simple. You buy ads. Ads either work or ads don't. You borrow traffic is affiliates, other people's traffic. So borrowing traffic could mean an affiliate. It could mean a trade. Like, hey, Stu, I wrote an article on, you know, knee pain. You wrote an article on recovery. I'll send my article to your list. You send your article to my list. And, you know, we'll, if we pick up some people, great, but we'll just kind of support each other and create our own little network. And then, so buy, borrow, build. Build is basically where you have a blog. You're depending to some degree on search engines a little bit, but you also building it, owning, you own that traffic too. And I guess another way to look at it would be traffic that you buy, traffic that you borrow, and traffic that you own. Owned traffic is your email list. Owned traffic is people who subscribe to your blog. I mean, I don't know if anybody even subscribes to RSS feeds anymore. That was the big thing, was trying to get people to subscribe to your RSS feed.
Yeah.
I
still have that. You're right. I'm not sure. I would go back into that as well.
You know, if you want to make sure you're getting updated from what we do, subscribe to my RSS feed, and then you'll definitely get it. I think, you know, some things that were just going through my mind, you know, to build up your list. Ultimately, it's about building up your list and building a relationship with your list. So all the stuff you would do on social media, you would basically just do on your blog. You would do it on your blog. And ultimately, the way that you could get shut down is if Gmail, which is owned by Google, if Gmail or an internet service provider decided that your content was, you know, for whatever reason, you can't do it. If the email service provider shuts you down, if your GoDaddy shuts you down, you're pretty much screwed. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about just Facebook has shut you down for whatever reason, either deserved or undeserved. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of that just with these automatic filters. And then there's so many, the ability to appeal to a human being is nearly impossible just based on the numbers. You know, if you get caught up in a filter for right or wrong, there's no one to appeal to. So the first thing I would do, I'm just going to run down this thing. Okay. Webinars. Webinars are a great way to build up your list. You have a webinar that just teaches something amazing that people go, holy crap-a-moly, this is amazing. Everybody needs to see this. And then you go out to people and say, hey, I've got this holy crap-a-moly webinar, and your people are going to love it. And I'll tell you what, if anybody buys anything, I'll give you 50% of the commission. What do you say? And I would just go back to when I was selling grave plots in Hampton, Virginia, man. Knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. Hey, would you be interested in planning for your final expenses? Get off my porch. Okay, have a great day. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, would you be interested in learning about how to plan your final expenses? And like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm here from, and just anyway, it's a numbers game is all it is. Okay, that's the number one thing. A hellacious webinar for a very targeted audience. The next thing would be I'd send out my newsletter. There's something that I used to do in my newsletters that I don't do anymore that I'm going to start doing again. When I sent out my newsletters, I told people, hey, if you'd like to repurpose this article, if you'd like to repost this article, you can. I just ask that you don't change it and you include my byline. But please, and if you know somebody who could benefit from this, please pass it along to them. Just by asking them to do that, because people can do it anyway. Oh, they're going to rip you up. You know what, Chuckles? You send out that email and it's in text. They can rip you off now anyway. The people who are on your list are probably not there to rip you off. So that's the first and second thing. That would be hey, if you know somebody that could benefit from this, please do them a favor and pass it along. Okay.
Yeah.
Number
Also
two,
gives a person an idea for content by
correct.
just saying that.
Correct. Yeah. So then publishing a newsletter at least once a week. All right. Maybe two. I would say you got to hit them twice a week so you stay on top of mind with content. But hell, right now we're hitting them twice a day with content on social media. Maybe they're inundated with crap, and maybe they'd be interested in more concentrated value and something that actually they could get some use out of instead of just the ping, 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 ping that nobody ever sees. Another concept that you've probably heard before, but your Dream 100, create a real network. Have people that know who you are, that you know who they are, that you all are servicing the same people, and you can do the affiliate relationships, you can do the content shares, you can have the people that can help you out when something happens. Otherwise, you're just little, they can yank the rug out from under you. Other people's websites, for content, for ads, other people that target your audience. I mean, it's hey, boom, can I run an ad? Can I run an ad? Can I buy an ad? How much would it cost? You go find the site. How much would it cost to run an ad? And just ask. Search engine optimization, I know you mentioned that, but as having been somebody who worked for a search engine optimization company for a while, quite a while, that's just a giant crapshoot. It's like SEO is a mostly serendipitous benefit of doing the content creation consistently the way that we talk about it. And if you do that, then you're going to get search engine placement just because of, the fact that there's a bunch of content out there. Right. But part of that is by having sites that have a high authority ranking linking to you is a big deal with that. So like you being on military.com has a lot to do with you showing up well in the search engines because military.com is a huge authority site. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So the fact that you're publishing there, so there are other sites like Medium and, other places that we get lazy. It's like, okay, I created my content. And so let me just put it up on Facebook. I'll put it on Instagram. Maybe if I remember, I'll put it over on LinkedIn, and then I'm done because I got other stuff I got to do. And I can get enough of a juicy result from that I let myself off the hook of doing the other work. So I think content distribution sites, we need to investigate them. I also think that it is worth taking a look at these new social media sites that are showing up. I know that many of them are being labeled as one side of the political spectrum or another. And I'm pretty agnostic about that whole thing, but there are eyeballs on those sites where there are people who aren't on Facebook anymore for whatever reason. They're not on Twitter anymore. So it's worth taking a look at those. And I will, again, I'm not making political commentary, but Michael Jordan said it best back in the 90s when people tried to pull him into political arguments. And he said, hey, Republicans buy sneakers too. So I'm not making a call one way or another as far as that, but I am saying that there are other emerging social media platforms. I turned up my nose at TikTok. Maybe I won't. Maybe I can make smart alecky 15 or 30 second. Well, let me put it this way. Okay. I know damn good and well that I can make some smart ass videos.
Okay. Mr. Pickles can be a star.
Oh man.
If I want him to be.
He'd be a huge TikTok star.
So I'm just saying that maybe it's time to pull my head out of my nether regions and stop being lazy because Facebook made me lazy. And then the other thing is Amazon, using Amazon for lead generation through books. All these books and stuff that I have up on Amazon that are selling. again, I got lazy. I didn't, maybe there are books up there that don't have a reason for somebody to register the book or to go sign up for something or to get into my universe. Or we just tell them, hey, check us out on social media. Well, what if they can't check me out on social media anymore? This is serious. This is
I would agree. You got to
deal.
have some contingency plans for this. And it goes back to our DIY media marketing, education that we did. There's multiple forms of marketing, and social media is just one of a dozen.
But it's the easy button.
It's the easy button. I get it. But so Zoom. I mean, this is an easy button. I mean, right now we're not broadcasting it anywhere.
Right, but you got to have a way to connect with the audience. Where are the people? I mean, you think about, okay, that's another way of looking at it. Okay, where are the people? That's the number one question. Where are they? Well, they're on social media, but they're also on other websites. There are other sites. There are news sites. There's CNN.com. There's podcast sites. There's Newsmax. There's all the, I mean, those are, you want to talk about two ends of the political spectrum.
Yeah, that was left and right.
But yeah, you can't get much more left and right. But my point is that people don't just go on social media. Social media is a starting point. So see where people go from social media that you can capture their eyeballs, either by buying, borrowing, or building traffic in some way. I think my gut is telling me that we're going to look back on this a year from now and go, I wish I had listened to my own words, or I'm so glad I listened to my own words.
Well, my advice for you, Jim, is you should do a test and test out all these other options, not spend several $1,000s a month on advertisement, and look at what happens on the bottom line after this test.
Yeah, I'm going to take part of my business and do that. There's other part that I'm not going to do that with. I just don't, I gotta figure something else out.
Yeah.
Because I remember what I used to do. I mean, I can tell you my whole day actually didn't create nearly as much content as I do now. My whole day was, I'd create a little content and then I would network with people through email, or on the phone, and I would see how I could add value to them and their audience. Try and do back then it was, trying to do a teleseminar. Hey, can I write an article for your people? Would you write an article for my list? When we published articles, and we used this site called Submit Your Article. Did you ever use them?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Submit your article, and that would shoot it out to all the different article databases all around the globe. And that was the way that you got your content out there, was submit.
Yeah, I would use PR Web.
Yeah.
Do a little press release.
Yeah. And I just wonder if those things, because all the little lemmings went over to social media and stuff, if those other things, I mean, I know Submit Your Article doesn't really work anymore, but those old school tactics, like you said, I wonder how many of them would still work.
Yeah.
And
PR Web still works.
Trying out. Yeah. But does anybody actually even look at it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, it's still there. And so is,
be a good test. I may test something out this week on PR Web.
Easing articles is still around, but they're mainly just spammy BS articles written by people where English is like a fifth language. Trying to do SEO stuff.
Well, something I asked the group the other day in the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks Facebook group.
Facebook poop, yeah.
Facebook group is about SMS marketing. So cell phone, smartphone marketing. And so I'm testing it out right now. So if you go to stewsmithfitness.com on your cell phone, you'll get a little pop-up that says, hey, use, this code, text it to this number and you get a 20% discount on your next purchase. So I'm offering a discount with people signing up, and I've only been doing it for a week, and I already have a couple hundred people who have opted in to this cell phone
Wow.
Thing. And so all I'm doing, and I let them know this once they're signed on, is I only will ping them when I have a new article or something, and I will always put in a coupon code in it.
Huh. So
it's not unlike an RSS feed, but I'm just using their cell phone and so we'll see. I mean, already I can see how much the company I'm using, I can see how much money is being generated from the cell phone sale. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Something different that I think a lot of people might have done it incorrectly and just overused it for a while. But when people are opting in to do it, and there's always an opt out thing at the bottom, it's in fact, you should try it and tell me what you think.
Oh, I should go sign up now?
Yeah, you should do it and just tell me what you think.
I already own all your.
You don't have to buy anything. Just tell me what you think of the.
Never
the
tell somebody
process.
They don't have to buy something.
Yeah.
What am I going to now?
StuSmithFitness.com. And there'll be a pop-up that pops up eventually about signing up on the SMS request. And it's just basic. You see it. It's going to be pretty seamless. Is it working for you?
Yeah, I had to tell YouTube to kiss my.
YouTube? What did YouTube have to do with it?
When I opened my browser on my phone, I had been looking at a YouTube video and it was trying to sell me something, and it was a pop-up thing that I couldn't get rid of.
Oh, wow.
It was trying to sell me on they're paying them monthly. I'm not paying anybody a dang thing monthly. I'm mad at all of big tech at the moment. All right, I'm here. I'm not seeing nothing.
Yeah, click a book.
Tactical fitness.
Yeah, click tactical fitness.
Nope. Oh, here it is. I scrolled up.
Yeah.
Opt in and receive your discounts, new articles, videos, podcasts via text. I clicked the button. Send this text for Stu Smith fitness code. Okay. I sent it.
Right. And you'll get a thank you and things like that, and you get your code and you can use it, and boom. But
I just got something from Stu Smith Fitness.
There you go.
Thanks for joining the Stu Smith Fitness VIP text list. I like that. Use code, I'm not going to say it, at checkout for 20% off your next order. Also, feel free to save our contact. Tap to shop.
So anyway,
message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. See, that's how you get off those lists. I was sending back cuss words, telling them to take me off your blankety blankety list. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you'll only get at maximum once a week text from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You say that now until you go to some seminar where they say, oh, you're only texting your list once a week? Well, if you'd like to double your income, all you have to do is text them twice a week.
Yeah.
And what would happen if you texted them once a day?
Oof. Yeah. That'd be rough. I know I sign up for a few of these, and that's what kind of I got the idea. And they're useful. I'm like, oh, I can save $20 today. Okay, that's cool. I'll do it. So anyway.
Well, I created a contact called Stu Smith Fitness. And I'm going to take a picture of you right here so I know it's from this spam that you gave me.
So anyway, who needs social media?
Yeah.
But
So
I'm gonna send you my latest article by text.
yeah, so here's my Stu Smith. This is so I know it's not really Stu. I know it's Stu spamming me.
Gotcha.
Just kidding.
No, that's funny.
Nah, that's cool. I'll look forward to see what you're doing. If you do something cool, I'll probably rip you off and create a course about it.
Oh, that's fine. That's why I'm doing it. I mean, it's another avenue to talk to more people.
Well,
and,
I'm gonna tell you what, man. This thing's got me rattled. This thing with Facebook has me rattled because they don't care. You don't have any rights. You have no recourse. You have nothing. You have nothing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous that they can do that with no reason.
Think it won't happen to you. That's fine. It's what I've been doing for the last year. Oh man, they're cutting off people's accounts and doing all this stuff. Man, it ain't gonna happen to me. I don't do anything.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I haven't expressed a political view on Facebook in like 5 years, 6 years. It's all been unicorns, rainbows, and glittery farts. That's it.
It's just puppies and babies for me.
Exactly. Oh, dude, it looked like your dog was getting ready to eat your baby. In that picture this morning, by the way.
Yeah, that was funny.
Did you smear the kid with peanut butter so that the dog could play with him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kid's so ugly we had to tie a ham bone around his neck so the dog could play with him. He was a fat little baby.
Oh boy.
He's a cute little guy. Was today his birthday, or was that just a picture you found?
No, it's just a random picture. I found a whole envelope full of puppy pictures from 15, 20 years ago.
You're like, this is gold.
So I've been going back in time.
Been doling them out.
Yeah.
Nah, that's cool. So anyway, I mean, I'd love to have a more coherent answer or plan than what I have. And I think I'm going to spend some time on this when I am
less angry.
No, when I'm I'm going on vacation and I'm going to really think this through. One of the things that I had a thought on vacation. I don't know if you remember this 3 years ago. I don't know how many years ago, maybe it was 4 years ago, but I still have the Post-it note up here. And I said, man, the key is MTV. A meme, a tip, or a video every day. You remember that? I mean, I was getting all complicated with all this different stuff. And it came to me when I was at Great Wolf Lodge in Williamsburg with my grandsons. It just popped into my head. It was like MTV. If you do MTV every day, do a meme, a tip, or a video every single day, and then just distribute the crap out of it, you're gonna do fine. That's all you gotta do. I was getting all crazy with all these different things, and I need to have that epiphany moment with all this stuff. Because like I said, Facebook's made me lazy. Facebook's made a lot of us lazy, and they can yank that rug right out from under us. Something else that they do to keep you under control. The Oculus Quest 2 is out, and it's a really cool piece of equipment. But in order to use it, you have to have a valid Facebook account.
Really?
Yes. Get this. If your Facebook account ever gets canceled, you lose all the stuff that you purchased, all the games, all the content. You lose everything that you purchased. You have to have a valid Facebook account in order to fire up that piece of hardware.
Wow.
So that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's a little monopolistic.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are bugging me right now this morning. And I'm not mad. I feel threatened, if that makes sense. And
yeah.
When I feel threatened, I tend not to do what a lot of people do, which is just to sit there and shake and feel scared. I said, you know what? I feel threatened. I need to have an alternative plan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out an alternative plan. I'm gonna hope for the best, plan for the worst. I'm going to act as if, my Facebook account I'll be able to start posting again in 6 days or whatever. But I'm going to plan for, in case something were to ever happen and they were to say, nope, you're done for whatever reason, you're done.
Yeah, I think eventually, I don't know what party it will be, or maybe it will be a bipartisan measure, but there will be some form of monopoly busting, antitrust type of legislation occurring with big tech.
Maybe.
Just for the reasons like you just said. I mean, to be able to work another piece of hardware shouldn't require you to have a particular social media account.
Right.
I mean, unless it's owned by Facebook, and then I guess
Oculus is
then
owned
they should
by,
be breaking things up, and they're
right. Oculus is owned by Facebook.
Yeah.
So, but it just, that's concerning to me. And yeah, they have these big, long, 50, 100, 200 page terms of service that nobody reads. No, yeah. Tell me you read word for word the terms of service of Facebook when you signed up. No, nobody does. So, and when they send you the thing, we updated our terms of service, you have to agree to it. Do you go in and read the changes? No. You check the box and you agree blindly. They could be saying they could come to your house and take your firstborn, and you're agreeing to it. So it's concerning. And I'm not slamming anybody. I'm not, it just is what it is. So
I think you're right with the way you started this, is that you need a contingency plan, but really all that is just, you need to remember what you did before there was Facebook. If you were in business then. I mean, not everybody was in business. They became better entrepreneurs because of social media. But there was a time when there was no social media, and we were able to make a decent living without it.
Yeah.
You can still do that. You just have to get creative and still use some of the newer forms of technology, like our Zoom here. I mean, we'll be able to spread this where it needs to be.
Well, Stu can, I can't.
Yeah. Well, you could. I mean, you could go on. I will do it because that's what I do for the Jim and Stu show and the podcast. I will be able to put it on YouTube and on the podcast platforms and all of that.
But you can't post it to YouTube.
I can, because you probably didn't link your Sales Copy Content Marketing Hacks podcast YouTube. You used your Jim Edwards YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully you can get it up there.
Yeah.
I guess this counts as our podcast episode too. Hey, yeah. I hope you enjoyed podcast episode 105.
There you go. Yeah.
Go. So it's concerning, and I would be interested in your comments, in people's comments about what would you do if you had a lifetime ban from Facebook? What would you do? And would you be interested in me interviewing some people on that topic and finding out from them what their plan would be to continue to grow and build their businesses? If you're interested in that, I kind of feel compelled to start doing an interview series on that. And it'd be interesting if I promoted it on Facebook.
Yeah. I tell you, I'm looking forward to the day that I don't have to use social media.
It's tedious.
To be honest with you. I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. It can be entertaining as well.
Yeah.
But there are better ways and other ways to market.
Let's be honest too. Some people don't deserve a voice.
Oh my God.
Some people, the way that they act, it's like this was not intended for what you're doing this. And this is not a political thing. This is not it's just some people's children were not raised right. And they use social media as a social pressure blackmail tool for their own ends. And
they're always arguing with something, and I was just like, Come on, man, life's too short.
Exactly. Okay. So let us know in the comments down below if you see this. Let us know. and I'm sorry that I'm coming to you from Facebook jail. I mean, I didn't mean to. Whatever I did, I'm sorry. I didn't. It wasn't. You know, it just. I didn't mean it. Sorry.
That's
Facebook
good.
and others. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it, Jim.
yeah.
That's good stuff. That's
So,
good stuff there.
there you go. Anyway. All right. Everybody, have a good one, and we will see you next time on the Jim and Stu Show and the Sales Copyright and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. Bye bye, everybody.